Hi everyone and welcome back to the Fusion Industry Association. My name is Dr. Sid Cowley and I work at the intersection of fusion and AI at FIA member Digilab. Today is Wednesday the 22nd of January and I'm here to give you your Fusion News Roundup. Stories today include 1. Fusion startup plans to build its first power plant in Virginia. 2. Ministers pledge £410 million to support UK nuclear fusion energy. 3. Is the world ready for the transformational power of fusion? And 4. Fusion-grade steel produced at scale in UK first. And of course, as always, I'll have some bonuses at the end. 1. Fusion startup to build its first power plant in Virginia. Our first story today was actually released just before we went on break at Fusion News, but it's big. It's been featured all over the news, including the New York Times, Scientific American, and CNN. It covers an announcement from FIA member Commonwealth Fusion Systems, or CFS, on the site for their first ARC device, to be located in Chesterfield County, Virginia. Now, just as a reminder, ARC is a tokamak designed in conjunction with CFS and MIT, and is the succeeding device to Spark, which is set to be operational in 2026 in Devens, Massachusetts. Now, while the mission for Spark is to demonstrate scientific gain for high-field tokamaks, ARC's mission is to produce and sell electricity. Although the design for ARC is well underway, the selection of the site to build it has only just been announced after a global search for a suitable location. The decision to build ARC in Virginia had many contributing factors, but one key factor is that Virginia is home to Data Center Alley, a hub of data centers and computing facilities and AI companies, which all have one thing in common: their need for abundant electricity. Now, this news is incredibly exciting for me and really solidifies ARC as a tangible, real-world project. I remember doing my PhD and first hearing about this CFS and their dreams to change the world. But now, with their demonstration device nearly complete and a home selected for their pilot plant, those far-off dreams are feeling tantalizingly close to fruition. 2. Ministers pledge record £410 million to support UK fusion energy. Our next story today covers a really important update from the UK. It was featured in The Guardian and effectively covers the Labour government's first big announcement with regards to fusion. The main announcement was that the UK fusion energy budget next year would be £410 million, representing a 17% increase from the previous year. Now, this is great news from the new government, as with spending cuts across the UK, many of us in the fusion community were anxious that fusion might be neglected. But with this increase in budget and a recent visit from Energy Secretary Ed Miliband to the UK Atomic Energy Authority's site, the government is clearly committed to fusion research. In response to this news, Ian Chapman, CEO of the UK Atomic Energy Authority, said, "I'm delighted by the strong support from the government to delivering fusion as a safe, sustainable energy of the future, and to anchor this exciting new industry in the UK." As well as this headline funding news, UK Industrial Fusion Solutions, the organisation which will deliver the UK's first pilot plant, STEP, announced a shortlist for the engineering and construction partners for STEP. Now, if you want to see the full list, please check out the link in the description. But just to give you a flavor, the two engineering partners selected are Celestial Joint Ventures, consisting of companies such as ENI UK, Atkins Realis, Amentum, and Tokamak Energy. And the second is Phoenix UK Fusion Limited, consisting of companies such as Cavendish Nuclear, KBR, and Assystem. 3. Is the world ready for the transformational power of fusion? Our third story today comes from the World Economic Forum and is actually written by Bob Momgard from FIA member Commonwealth Fusion Systems and Vinod Khosla from Khosla Ventures. It's a really interesting piece that examines how fusion can fit into the world's energy infrastructure. Specifically, the article looks at a study from the MIT Energy Initiative, which analyzed the potential impact of fusion energy on New England's energy grid, which is now investing heavily in wind and solar. It found that the dispatchability and reliability of fusion energy could cut energy costs in the region by $36 billion, or 7% by 2050. Extrapolating these cost savings to the entire world might increase global GDP by $68 trillion in a conservative scenario, or up to 175 trillion in a more aggressive scenario. So, as well as this incredible positive economic impacts that fusion could offer, the article highlights the transformative impacts of fusion on geopolitics. After all, not only electricity, but critical industries such as steel, cement, chemicals, shipping, and aviation rely on this dependable, safe energy. And today, that can only really be achieved through fossil fuels. Since every country needs a lot of these critical industries, they currently rely heavily on a few dominant oil and gas exporters. Fusion energy could liberate global industries from this geopolitical dependence. And because of that, the article argues that the jump from fossil fuels to fusion energy will inevitably be more profound than the jump from burning wood to fossil fuels. The article was also released in the build-up to the annual World Economic Forum to be held on the 24th of this month. Hopefully, we see alternative energy sources and fusion energy in some of that discussion. 4. Fusion-grade steel produced at scale in UK first. Our final article today covers the announcement from the UK of a landmark manufacturing of 5.5 tons of cheap fusion-grade steel. Specifically, the steel produced was RAFM, or Reduced Activation Ferritic Martensitic steel, a type of steel that doesn't get as damaged as conventional steels when it's exposed to the neutron irradiation you will see in a fusion power plant. Although RAFM, or Reduced Activation steels, have existed for a while, they are not produced nearly as much as conventional steels, so they're still really expensive to manufacture. However, this 5.5 tons of steel was manufactured with electric arc furnaces, which could allow for much more precise manufacturing and reduce manufacturing costs by up to 10 times. Now, this announcement comes from the Neutron Irradiations of Advanced Steels, or NEURON group in the UK, a consortium of 10 institutions that work together to develop advanced steels for fusion. The program lead, Dr. David Bowden, said of the successful fabrication, the production of 5.5 tons of fusion-grade RAFM steel lays the foundation for cost-effective manufacturing of these types of fusion steel for future commercial fusion programs. Now, personally, I really enjoy these stories to do with manufacturing or construction, because it really shows in fusion we're not in this blue sky stage, we're in a stage of building and deploying, and I think that's really exciting. Right, well, that's all for our main stories. For our bonus today, we have another story from the UK. Believe it or not, there's a lot of stories from the UK this week. Last week, the UK government launched a bold new plan to become leaders in artificial intelligence, and part of this plan involves the construction of AI growth hubs across the UK. But what does this have to do with fusion? Well, the first AI hub will be located at the UK Atomic Energy Authority site in Oxfordshire, providing benefits to and reaping benefits from the fusion energy industry. And it shows again this fantastic symbiosis between AI and fusion. Right, well, that's all for Fusion News this week. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, your feedback, comments, it's always really appreciated by the Fusion News team. As always, the links will be in the description, and thanks for watching. See you next time.